warm up, we're going to make some snowflakes. You're going to need something to draw with, doesn't matter what. Something round. I'm using a plate from my kitchen, but you could use a pencil tin or whatever you have handy. Doesn't matter what size it is. And some paper. Again, doesn't matter what sort. So we're going to take, and some scissors. So we're going to take your plate or circle, whatever you have, pop it onto your paper, choose whatever you've decided to draw with. I've just got a crayon. And trace around. Oh, a bit hard to see on my video. There you go. Now, I've got a couple of pages there. I could cut a few out at a time if I wanted to, but I'll just start with one for now. I'm going to take my scissors and cut around that circle. Alright, once you have your circle cut out, you're going to do some folding. So first of all, I'm going to really line up those edges and fold my circle in half. And pinch. Then I'm going to fold it into quarters. I do need to turn it around so I can see what I'm doing. Pinch and pinch, and one more fold into eighths. And pinch. Here I have a segment of my circle. Next, I can either go straight away with my scissors or I can draw some lines on. I'm just going to go straight with my scissors. Where did I put them? So, I'm going to, and you can do whatever you like, different patterns will happen with different cuts. I'm going to take off a corner there. Maybe on this other side over here, I might do a big triangle. There we go, and I might snip a little bit off the center there, and maybe something off the top, like so. Oh, now that I look at it, I feel like I need something over here, so maybe I might just do some slices like that. Oh, there we go. So I've made a few different cuts in a few different ways. Then all I need to do is unfold it. And I have a lovely snowflake. Make as many as you have time to do. And don't forget to pick up all of the little bits of paper that are probably underneath you now. Today we are learning to efficiently write a lowercase x and z. You'll know you've been really efficient with your writing if you're using the lines to keep your letters the same size. You're aiming for the same shape in each of your letters. Your slope is leaning a little to the right, and you've got good spacing between your letters and your words. Let's practice some of that good leaning slope with a row of exclamation marks to warm up. An exclamation mark begins on the top solid line, comes down about halfway between your two body lines, and finishes with a dot at the bottom. Down, using your good slope, and dot. An exclamation mark shows some strong emotion in your writing, whether it be excitement or anger, something that's a very strong emotion. Let's begin with the letter X. X is an interesting letter because it feels like you could just start on the top right and go down and then come back and finish your cross like that. But that won't help you later on if you decide to do running writing. For our best running writing, our letters always want to be starting in the top left-hand corner, and they go down first and across second. So let's have a look at that letter X again, knowing what we know. Let's start on the top left-hand corner and head down. Then we're going to move across to the bottom and finish our letter X by going up. Let's have a look at how that will go now if I was going to write a whole word. Let's do the word axe. Later on, when you're learning to join, you'll exit flick up to that top line. Then you'll do your first part of the letter X, your downstroke. You'll come back across to the left and finish with an upstroke. And then you'll be able to go on with your next letter. But for us today, all we need to do is remember that order. So we start at the top. Our number one stroke is going down that way. Our number two stroke is going up that way. Let's move on to that letter X. X is a body letter, so it's going to use the space in between those two dotted lines. I'm beginning on the top left and swiping down, lifting my pencil to come down to the bottom left and head up. I can see that my pencil's a little bit thick there, so I'm going to choose a finer point, or imagine I'm sharpening my stylus, and let's go again. Down and across, up and across. Pretty good. Now you don't need to worry about slope this time, but you do need to worry about consistency. So we don't want any letter X's that are really wide or any that are too narrow. Just try and keep them the same width. Remember, if you do one that you're not quite happy with, just move on to the next one and do it better. Another thing to check in with is that your X's are crossing roughly in the middle of those two lines. So the join here, in between the top dots and the bottom dots. Now it's time for us to take a look at the letter Z. The lines are really important for this because two of the lines of your letter Z are going to exactly match the lines on your page. It's another body letter, so let's begin. Take your pencil on the top dotted line. We go one straight line across to the right, a diagonal line down to the bottom, and another line across to the right again. We zig and zag, and at no point should your pencil come off the page. On, until you've finished that letter Z. Off we go with our letter Z practice. Finding that top dotted line, across and across. Across, down, across. So another one where you don't need to worry about slope. But I do really want you using those lines to keep your letters the same size. If you do happen to do one that doesn't quite meet the lines, that's okay. Just notice it and try harder the next time. Let's move on now to some individual words. I'm going to start with the word fox, remembering that F is a tall letter and it begins in between those lines, around and down on a slope, crossing over for your letter F, anti-clockwise for your O, top and down, bottom and up for your letter X. Let's try 3 of those. Then, nice and easy, we're going to 3 times write the word box. Letter B, that same good slope, leaning towards the right, up and around with your slightly pointy oval shape. Anti-clockwise for your O, down and up for your X. Still keeping it nice and simple, the next word we're going to write is zoo. 3 times on the line underneath, across, down and across. 2 anti-clockwise O's. Same again. And finishing with 3 times the word zip. Now, on our next row, instead of doing a sentence, we're going to have an extra picture. So we're starting with our letter X. And while you've got your pencil in your hand, you might draw a couple of them. Make sure to leave plenty of space between them because we are going to turn them into a present in a box. Choose a different colour to be your present wrapping. Round I go. And then choose a different colour for your bow. And I'm just doing 2 little loops there, loop and loop, like a bit of a wonky letter A. Sorry about that, somebody's interrupting. But if you don't have anyone interrupting, you can do as many letter X present boxes as you like. Now, whether you're at home, at school, or somewhere else altogether, thanks for learning with me today. Remember to show your teacher either by handing them your book if you're in real life, or take a photo and share it with them online. Now, if you're still with me, we're going to do a butterfly as our guided drawing. Let's begin with our letter X. Remember, in this part, you can use different colours. You can make your letter bigger. So there's my letter X, a little bit wobbly, but it will be fine. For my next step, I'm going to keep this second line going and loop around so I get a little circle that joins in to the centre of the letter X, and a second circle that finishes down at the bottom. Now we're going to do the same on the other side. Loop around to the centre and a little loop to the bottom. Now I'm going to use a different colour now just to make this next bit stand out a bit more. 2 little lines for the antennas. Try some yourself.